Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to test out our next emergency preparedness survival gear item. This is a 4-in-1 flashlight and radio from Ready Hour. It's just kind of the feel of it seems kind of cheapy. We're going to test out to see if it performs as advertised. It's supposed to charge via USB, via solar, and also there's a hand crank. It's AM FM radio, NOAA, weather band, and also a flashlight. So we'll test the hand crank. It's supposed to provide power, I think, for up to an hour, 1 minute of cranking, and then we'll test how well the solar panel actually charges the radio. Of course, in any emergency situation, having a radio ability to listen into any kind of warnings or information is important. And then if it also serves as a flashlight, that's a win as well. So first up, we will try out the hand crank. Okay, we're going to use a hand crank for 1 minute. Let's see what this thing does. Okay, we've cranked it for 20 minutes. Now we're going to test to see if the flashlight actually lasts for 20 minutes like it said off 1 minute of hand cranking. Okay, there's a flashlight. We'll be back. Okay, we cranked it for 1 minute and we're at 20 minutes and the flashlight's still good. So we're going to let it go a while, let it burn out, then we'll crank it for 1 more minute and turn on the radio. It claims that the radio will last for 10 to 15 minutes on a 1 minute hand crank. Okay, the flashlight went at least another 10 minutes, so it went 30 minutes minimum with 1 minute hand crank. So now I cranked it 1 more minute with the hand crank, and we are going to test the radio and see how long the radio will work. Okay, I think we're on FM there. Volume turned all the way up and the radio is not working. So this may not be a good test for this device. Let me see if I can figure it out and we'll be back. Okay, I figured out what the deal was. You have to switch this AAA to the Li-ion battery for it to switch over to the hand cranked. I hadn't noticed that before. This is the first time out of the package for me. So, and I ended up cranking it 2 more minutes before figuring that out. So now we've got 3 minutes of hand crank time to test instead of the 1 minute where they said it was good for. If you hand crank for 1 minute, it's good for 10 to 15 minutes of radio usage. So with 3 minutes, I'm assuming we should get at least 30 minutes out of it. So we're going to find out. As you can see, it's working now. So we're going to leave it playing for 30 minutes and then I'll come back and see. And then we'll move on. We'll let it run dead. And then I will put it in the sunlight and see how well the solar charger works for this thing. Alright, we'll be back. Okay, well, we're back, and the charge lasted less than 10 minutes. Well, it's hard to guess. I mean, it took me a few minutes before I turned on the timer, and I was about 5 minutes into the timer before it shut off completely, lost its charge. So I don't know. I'm guessing it was maybe another 5 minutes. So I'm going to give it 10 minutes. And it claims in the paper that if you hand crank it for 1 minute, it should last 10 to 15 minutes radio usage at medium volume. I guess I was at medium volume, maybe a little bit higher. I mean, I didn't have it turned all the way up. I mean, I was sitting next to it at the table, so it definitely wasn't cranked up, and I cranked it for 3 minutes. So it lasted 10 minutes on 3 minutes crank. So it didn't hold up to its claims on the hand crank usage for the radio. It did hold up on its claims for the hand crank usage for the flashlight, though. So the next step is, now that it's dead, I'm going to go stick it out in the garden so it'll get direct sunlight. I want to see how long it takes to charge. I'm going to give it 1 hour in the sun, because I know the sun is, look at this little panel. It takes longer to charge with solar power. It's not going to be as efficient as the hand crank, but we'll give it 1 hour and we'll see what that does. We'll see if it's charged at all, and if it is, how long that lasts, and that'll be the end of the test for this Ready Hour 4-in-1 radio flashlight. Okay, it's been out here for an hour, so we're gonna see what happens here. Does it have any juice? Sure does. So let's. My neighbor's federal much longer. Fox. So we'll let it play and see how long this 1 hour solar charge lasts. I'm gonna bring it inside now so it doesn't keep charging. Turn it down some, since they said medium volume. And we'll be back for our final test. Okay, so we're back. We tested the solar charge. Again, we let it sit in the sun for about an hour, and then turn the radio on about medium volume as they recommend to see how long the charge would last, and it lasted for about 30 minutes. So 3 minutes on the hand crank, and the radio lasted 10 minutes. 1 hour in the sun, and the radio lasted 30 minutes. And 1 minute on the hand crank, the flashlight lasted 20 minutes and was still going. The package claims that if you do 1 minute hand crank, the radio would last 10 to 15 minutes, and I assume that meant for every minute beyond that you would get, double, triple that amount of power. Like I said, on 3 minutes of hand crank, you only got 1 minute of charge on the radio, so it didn't quite meet its specs on the hand crank charge for the radio. Everything else seems to be about what you'd expect. This unit cost about anywhere from $35 to $45, depending on where you buy it from. And I don't know if it's worth that, but you do need to have some sort of way to listen to the radio and weather broadcast in an emergency situation, and you don't want something that totally is reliant on batteries. So you do want something like this that has a hand crank option and or a solar charge option to it for when your batteries run out. So it meets the need. If you need and you don't already have a radio for emergencies, this is one that I could recommend. Now, how well is it built? How long does it last? I'm not sure. It feels a little cheapy, so you may end up having to replace it every few years. But for an emergency, it'll get the job done. And this again is Ready Hour 4-in-1 emergency flashlight radio. If you like this test, like, subscribe, share. Thanks. Bye.